All right, we are live now, just so you know. I know you are kids. So anyways, today, guys, we are learning about div tags and how they are going to help us organize our page. All right, so let's see if any of our advanced guys even remember this. What is a div tag? It is an area and where you can put things.
I know how to insert it.
You do know how to insert. So anyways, guys, think of a div tag as a placeholder. All right, and a placeholder is somewhere. It also gives you the properties to add specific things to just that placeholder.
Know what it is.
What is it? I did just say it. Exactly. We good? Did you take that down on your notes? It is a placeholder, guys. That's really all you need to think of what it is a placeholder. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a page and we're going to make it look the way we want it to look straight through div tags. All right. So what I want everybody to do, once I go ahead and throw up our page here, screenshots, entire screen. Okay. So on our web page here, I want everybody to open up a new HTML. All right. Go to File, New, HTML. And we can stick with our movie theme. What is a new movie coming out or a movie? Give me a movie, guys.
Ant-Man.
What is it?
Ant-Man. American Sniper.
Is that an actual
American
movie?
Sniper.
Already out. Ant-Man?
Yeah, Ant-Man's movie. It's
American
Marvel
Sniper.
character.
Marvel released their
You know,
ant-sized
like,
view of Ant-Man.
the guy that shrinks himself but still superhumanly strong. Yeah. I'm surprised they're making so many Marvel movies too. Like they're doing.
This is Ant-Man? Is this going to be a cartoon or a movie?
No, this is an actual movie.
When's this supposed to come out?
Like
Is it a movie or is it a TV show?
it's a movie. Movie, yeah, along with like Mr. Strange.
It looked like another one of those. Like,
All right, so hold on. Oh my God.
Yeah. There is so many comic book movies.
He's Ant-Man?
Yeah.
He fights crime by shrinking himself?
That just sounds he's the super genius man who invented the ability to shrink himself. So I assume he has others.
It almost reminds me of like The Fly. I'm skipping ahead. Oh my God. You gotta be kidding me.
Nope.
It was him flying on a fly. Like an actual fly.
No joke.
Ant-Man it is.
Did you see the?
All right, so go to File,
ant-sized
Save
version of
As.
Ant-Man?
We're going to save this as Ant-Man. Oh, buddy. A-N-T. Yeah, I don't think you can do dash. Ant-Man. Ant-Man. We're opening up a new HTML. We are saving it as A-N-T, man, not Ant-Man, to be confused with your auntie. Ant-Man. Wow. Okay. The new HTML, buddy, where's it at? Did you save it as Ant-Man?
Yeah, I did.
Good. We're ready to roll. All right, everybody's got this? All right. Wait one more second. Ant, A-N-T-M-A-N, Ant-Man. All right. Now, what we're normally used to is we just kind of, I'm going to go in split mode so you guys can see. You guys would just type and hit enter and make these all paragraph tags. But what we're going to do is by creating these div tags, we can move, place things wherever we want. All right. But before we do that, we're going to make one giant div that will hold all of our other divs in it. All right. And the way we're going to kind of picture this is kind of like a glass jar. All right. Or a container. So what we're going to name this div is going to be container. Every div we make is going in this container div. All right. So first thing we're going to do is insert one div. All right. And if you guys don't have it up here, yours might be over here. And if you don't see it over here, you're going to go to the window and make sure insert is selected. If Windows insert doesn't have a check mark next to it, go ahead and do it. So again, mine's right here. Yours is probably going to pop up as a window over here. All right. And if we go ahead and hover over next to the table feature and the image feature, you will see it says insert div. Go ahead and click that. All right. Now it says insert at insertion point, which we do, a class or an ID. We're going to make an ID one. All right, the ID div. And the name we're going to give this div is very simply container. Now, it is important that you spell correctly or you stay consistent. Because as we learned with HTML, if it's something's misspelled and you try to add a CSS to it or some type of attribute to it, it needs to be the same. So in this case, if we use container, if we're going to apply something to the container, we have to spell it the exact same way. All right. So if you're going to use capitals in the beginning of them, use capitals everywhere for all your divs. If you're not, keep them all lowercase. All right. Container, C-O-N-T-A-I-N-E-R. Just saying, you got that down? Your first div should be container. We got them there, crew? All right. Wait a little bit. Anybody got a quick pen? I need another ink for my quick pen. It's like the best pen in the world, the holder. I just need a refill cartridge. Anybody got one for me? No. All right. Once you throw a container in there, we're going to go ahead and hit OK. And now notice you will get a little box that some of you guys have seen that you accidentally created before that says content for ID container goes here. Now, next thing I want to point your view to is this over here, what it creates in your HTML. All right. It creates a little section for this div. Notice the tag open, what do we call it? Sideways carrot or something? This right here. What do we call this? Somebody said that to me. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for that answer. But notice, yeah, that's what I thought. But notice how you've got an open tag with the name of the ID of the container, and then we've got a close tag. So it's almost like another body within the body. All right? We've got it all set so that anything we throw in this container now. All right. So this is the next important part, guys. Since this container is going to hold all of our other divs we create for this web page, our whole web page is going to be located in this container. All right? So think about some things that you kind of need for a web page. One thing you need for a web page is what? What do all our other web pages have at the top? You got a title. So you have a heading or a header. Okay? What else? You've got a body. What else? Huh? Not yet. We are going to get to footers, though, but not right yet. Okay? There's only one main big thing, guys. You guys are all missing. What do all of our pages have that we haven't mentioned yet? You already have that there. No. Links, or also commonly known as your what bar? Your navigation bar. All right, so you're also going to need your nav. This right here, guys, is pretty much your basic form of a web page. All right. Once we get done with this basic form, you can do whatever you want once you get the whole idea of these div tags down and how they work. All right. So what we're going to do is going back here is we're going to put our insertion point at the beginning of C for content for ID. You will always, 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 always put that insertion point at the beginning of content for ID. This is a note you should take, Jasim. You should always, always, always put that insertion point at the beginning for content for ID. Container goes here. All right? The reason why is because when we insert a new div, it's going to be placed inside of that container. Always, always, always. All right? And how this is going to work is think of every time you throw something in this container, it floats up to the top. Then you put your insertion point back at content for container. And then you put a new one in, and it's going to float to the top. And you'll see what I'm saying here in a second. All right? So now that we've got our container, insertion point is in front of content for ID. We're going to go ahead and add a new div. And we're going to go ahead and name this header. All right, and the reason why it's important to always put your cursor back in front of container, content for container, is because if you were to just insert another div, now your next div is going to be within your header, which is in your container. All right, all these new divs we put in today, they should just be in your container and that's it. So for example, look over here on my split screen. I've got my div for my container, and inside of that, I've got my div for my header. Okay? So now what you need to do is put your cursor back in front of content for ID container. Uh-oh, what happened? Huh? Hold on. Go. H1 line center. H1. Click right there. After. Like, everything. Enter. Enter. Wait, why do you have a body? This? I don't need it. Wait, where's your body open? You gotta have your body open. No. Above that. Above that. You got your H1 lines. Gotta be your body. Okay. No, it's div ID that you can take. Okay, that's not the container. And delete content for ID container. Alright, so now we're good. Now put your thing in front of C for content. I'll put it in front of the C. There you go. Hey guys, yeah, it gets a little hard. Like if you're constantly trying to squeeze your insertion point before the C, just put it around and then use your arrow keys. All right, so we've got this giant glass, and all we threw in there was the header, and it floated to the top. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is throw that nav in there. All right, so what we're going to do is put this in front of the C for content for ID, add a new div, and we're just going to simply call it nav. You doing all right? Okay. Now insert new. Good. Insertion point there. That's gonna be your header. Just saying, you taking notes on the order of these? Container first, header next, then nav, then body. All right. Now, this is what it should start to look like. You've got your container div inside there. You've got your header div, but now look, your header div is closed. Then you've got your nav div. Then your nav div is closed, and then your container div is closed. Now, don't do this. This is strictly for demonstration purposes only. If you do not put your cursor back in front of content for container, and you just go ahead and add a new div, don't do this, guys. Just said don't do this. All right, you put body. look at what happens over here. All right, container, then we got our header. Oh, good, our header's within our container, and that's it. Then we've got our nav. Now we've got our body inside of our nav. Do you see how both of them start getting highlighted right there? That's bad. You should not want that. All right? You should want, for your cursor in front of content for container, add a new div. We're going to call it body. And the reason why, when you are done, you should be able to click each individual inside one and only have it highlight once. Then when you click your container, it should highlight them all. Think of it like a glass, guys. Your container is going to hold all of your divs. All right? Now, here poses the next question. Can you have more than one container per web page? What do you think, Jasim? Can you have more than one container per web page? Huh? Move your hand for your mouse so I can hear you. Kruger, what do you think? Yes. Why do you say yes? Wait, no. Why do you say no? Dylan, what do you think? Can you have more than one container per web page? Could you make multiple of these? Yeah, you can have multiple containers. If you ever look at a well-designed like web page, they might have a container that at the top just includes like maybe a news story like ESPN. How every couple seconds it flashes by, right? Then if you look at underneath it, they've got all their links or stories. That could be a completely new container. The only thing you got to do is you got to rename that container Container 2 or Container 3. All right? So this, though, is going to be our basic section of div tags. So what I want everybody to do, I want you to go and hit save on that one. Should be no asterisks next to that name. Okay? Everybody go to File, New, HTML. Somebody give me another good new movie coming out. Frozen 2.
All the Marvel ones.
One called Deadpool.
Yeah.
What about Deadpool? Does that sound good? I don't even know that. We'll go to Deadpool. Go to File, Save As. Name it Dead, D-E-A-D. Is it D-O-O-F? Is it one word? There you go, Deadpool. All right? It's another superhero guy. Okay, so now what I want you to do on this page is I want you to practice putting in those divs. Deadpool. You swear to pool. All right. Practice putting in those 4 divs. You were right there. You go forward one. Remember, the key is always put your cursor in front of content or container. Always your container. The key is right there on the board. This is what it should look like right here. This should be div ID container with 3 divs indented on the same line. Why do you do that? I'm going to orient this board. Bother me. you get it done, Jasim? Okay. Love, we got it? You get all done? Good. 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 Fix it. Good. Good.
I'm using Div Tags in this website.
Better. Keep in mind, guys, our goal is that JJC web competition. I've yet to have anybody place in the top 4.
Where's Marine Force number 5?
Hmm?
Marine job
They
number
don't do 5. They do 1 through 3 and then honorable mention.
Oh, 4 then. How did you know it was 4?
Because it's an honorable mention, which is right outside. All right, good. Sim got it. We're good. Now, go ahead and make sure you save all those. I want you to go back to Ant-Man. Ant-Man. All right. So, how does Div Tags allow us to structure our web page the way we want it to? All right. Remember back when we were doing HTML script, we used CSS, correct? Cascading style sheets. And what that does is that's going to allow us to make our div tags look the way we want them to look. All right? Now, if we tell something to look a certain way, everything inside that's going to follow suit. So if we told our container to be a certain width, that means everything inside that container is going to be that width. Understand? If we wanted that container to be a certain color, everything in that container is going to be a certain color. Okay? The only way it'll be different is if you tell anything inside that container to be different using CSS. So the first thing we're going to do is if you look at any web page, usually has a set size. All right? Meaning when we open it up, it's going to have usually a margin on the left or right just because everybody's got different resolutions. Everybody's got different screen sizes. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our cursor in the container. It's the first thing we're going to format. Whenever you're formatting your web page, format your container first. Just throw that in your notes. Container should be the first thing you're going to want to format. All right. Now, yes, you can make a CSS that's going to basically rule over your whole website. We're going to do one just for this page right now. So, over here on your windows, you should see one that says CSS styles, correct? Look around in this area. If you don't, if you see something like that, just double click CSS styles and it will pop open like this. Did everybody find it or no? Get it? If yours looks like this, where it's grayed out, you have current selected. Click all. And then it will go to no styles defined. All right, and a lot of this is going to kind of make sense because we've done this before with HTML. So down here in the bottom right of that CSS style things, you're going to see like a link, and then next to that, you're going to see new CSS rule. We're going to go ahead and click that. This dialog box will pop up. All right. In this dialog box, you're going to have selector type. Okay. You've got a class, CSS, you've got an ID, CSS, a tag, and a compound. All right? A class CSS, which we'll get to, is going to be something that you apply to a certain object in your HTML, which I'll show you later. All right? An ID CSS is one that's going to be applied to one HTML element, in this case, our container. All right? Then you've also got the tag, which remember how I talked about a CSS override when you guys were HTML writing it out? How you can override what an H1 tag looks like? Yes? That's what that tag CSS would be. And a compound would be a combination. We're going to select ID. And when you click it, whatever you're in, remember I told you to put your insertion point in your container? When you click new one, it automatically puts in there what you want. Choose the ID or enter the name you want to alter. Ours is going to be hashtag or pound container. So if you want to hit cancel and click new CSS again, so your hashtag container's up there, that's fine. Click cancel, sir.
Oh, buddy, how did you, you work perfectly fine. What happened, man? How did you get your man and your body in your header? I don't know either, buddy.
All right, once you got that in there, go ahead and click OK. This dialog box will pop up now. All right, inside this dialog box that popped up on your window is anything that will describe what you want that container to look like. All right, first thing you should go to is you are going to go to box. Sorry, to box. Go to the category box. And we're going to set a specific width for that box or for your container. All right. Now, I'm just going to throw 800 in there. Notice the unit of measurement. All right. 800 pixels. And then you got points, inches, centimeters, millimeters, PC, EMs, or I think that's EX, or percents. Now, you can always use pixels. That's fine. However, though, if you want it to look the same on no matter what screen somebody's using, you would use a percent. All right? So I'll show you the difference right now. We're going to go and hit 800 pixels. And I want you to hit apply. And then OK. And go to your design view and look what happened. Go to design view. Just take away your split and see what happened. Jason, come on, bud. Go to design view. Jason, go to design view. All right. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like without that. All right. So obviously it takes up the whole screen. When you put that in, it cuts it down. All right. That's pixels. Do you guys have the ruler up at the top or no? No? Go to view ruler. Where's that bad boy at? Rulers. There it is. Show. All right. So notice it's 800 pixels. So what happens is if you were to preview this or put this on the internet, no matter what screen, if a guy had a ginormous screen and they had a high resolution, didn't matter, this was always going to be 800 pixels. If you wanted to take up 80% of their screen, you would change it, go back in. So in order to go back into that CSS we made, over here you're going to double click that hashtag container, go to box, and change it from 800 to 80, and go back down to percent, and hit apply. And then hit OK. All right, so now notice you've shrunk in your container, and everything that went with it is now also smaller. What's up? That's because it, now look, guys, if you look at my screen, if I adjust my window, notice it's staying 80%.
Yeah.
So that's what it is, yeah. All right, go ahead, save all. Then I want you to go to your other pages, your Deadpool, and I want you to create another CSS for its container. And the last, what we got, 2 minutes? And just adjust the width. You can make it whatever you want. You can make it pixels, or you can make it percent. My suggestion would be to make them all the same. Once you're done with that, you may exit out. Have a good day, world.